Good morning, all you turnkeys, hacks, screws, and officers. Salty CO coming at you. Today we're going to talk about being a reservist National Guardsman, slash in there, and working in corrections. I got a video I'm working on the Law Enforcement Officer Safety Act. Something good to know, but that one I'm going to make sure I have the law in front of me because I don't want to get anybody in any trouble with the law when it comes to that one. So working in corrections and being a reservist has some interesting tricks and pitfalls to it. Some things that can get you in a trick basket pretty quick. For those that aren't aware, as a reservist National Guardsman, I am entitled to my training time. The work cannot touch me. Had this happen when I first joined, because I joined later. I was already working in corrections, and it was 8 years ago. I'm sitting at drill and my phone rings and it's my boss. It's like, "Hey, why aren't you at work?" I'm like, "Well, I'm at drill." "Oh, we didn't know." I'm like, "Yeah, I gave the schedule to the admin lieutenant." "Yeah, he failed to put it down." I'm like, "Well, I'm almost done here. Do you need me to come in and cover a shift?" And right away, they're like, no, you're good. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Don't worry about it. You're fine. They were afraid because they knew that my supervisors are educated on this, because a lot of them are prior service, or we have a lot of prior service that work there, and we have a lot of National Guardsmen and reservists that work at the prison. They said, no, you're good. Don't worry about it. You're fine. I'm like, oh, okay. And they changed it in the computer, made it where it was supposed to be, right? So, I'm fortunate. I have a great company commander, great company command team. I have a great, supervisory staff at the prison, but not everybody does. And you have to realize that you have laws that protect you. You have laws that are there for your safety, to ensure that your rights aren't being violated. Because unlike most people, those of us that are in understand that, and even then, I shouldn't say we all understand, because there are some reservists that I've met that don't understand this part, but 100% of the time, I am subject to the Uniform Code of Military Justice. 100% of the time. So that means things as stupid as, in some people's mind, not mine, but in some people's minds, adultery. If I commit adultery, I can be charged under the Uniform Code of Military Justice and sentenced and be discharged from the Army and probably do prison sentence, depending on how much of a stickler they want to be. That's the extreme case. But, that's a law that's still on the books. Malingering is another law on the books that I can be found guilty of, faking an injury. And there's no laws like that in the U.S. that I am aware of, that normal people can be subject to. So, as a part-time service member, we have extra rules we have to follow. And sometimes supervisors don't understand that. Maybe they weren't educated properly in how that works. Maybe they never experienced it, because you might be the only one at your agency that deals with this. You might be at a small county jail and you might be the only National Guards person or reservist there. So, it's one of those things where it can happen. It could be, just, lack of knowledge, not intentional. And they're putting you in a trick basket. Or it could be intentional. Like, I had a supervisor that he would intentionally sit there and say, you have to choose one or the other. You can't get both. Everybody else here chose this career after doing their time with Uncle Sam. You can't do both. Well, actually, yeah, we can. He got himself in trouble. He got sued by a coworker of mine. I don't know whatever happened with that suit, but he got sued. You know, the thing to remember is when it comes down to it, you need to look at the information that's being presented and decide for yourself, is this being intentionally done or lack of knowledge? If it's a lack of knowledge, do the right thing and teach them. Print out stuff, email it to them, show them, hey, this is where the law says that I'm protected. For those that aren't aware, and if there's any supervisors watching this, which if you are, great. I'm not going to sit there and judge if you are or you aren't. The law states that service members are to have the day of military training off. Doesn't matter if it's leave without pay, paid. That's your agency's choice. My agency gives me 120 hours a year, a fiscal year, with a max carryover of 240. So that's 4 weeks of training. No, it's more than that. Geez, now I'm thinking hard. 6 weeks. 6 weeks of training that I can carry over, which I'm probably this quarter, having weekends off, probably going to not be using my military leave and gonna bank a lot of it. It's just kind of the way it works out. So you have the leave, but even if they don't give you leave, they have to give you the time off. And if they want to sit there and argue and needing proof, then you give them the proof. For me, I give them my drill schedule. My admin supervisor right now, he turns around and he accepts that piece of paper is a written order, because it says right on there, this constitutes a written order. The previous admin supervisor would sit there and say, oh, I need written orders that say you will report this time, blah, blah. It's like, they don't exist. This is my order. My command team would give me a memo if I needed, if there's things that I needed to go to my drill hall for outside of the normal time, because there's work as, the unit armorer I had to do. Like, I've had to be there while the depot came down and was testing our night vision. So I was there with the guy from the depot doing the night vision. Outside of my training schedule, so they gave me a memo saying, hey, we need Sergeant so-and-so at this unit for these many days for a mission essential task, which it was. I had to have those gauged. At the time, I was the only one that was available that had access to the vault. And my supervisor accepted it. But, the training schedule is my training schedule. Now, yes, I know some groups like Air National Guard in my area, they don't do that. There's so many different groups that are doing training at different times, and you have flight crews that have extra drill and what have you. So it's kind of hard to have a schedule, but give the documentation in a timely manner. Give your boss the best chance to succeed and help you out and do the right thing. The other thing that you have that's protecting you is if you have to drive a distance. And because it doesn't affect me, I don't know the mileage, but I know the rule exists. They have to give you the day before off to go. And it's your choice to take it or not, depending on your schedule. If you're working, let's say 6 to 2 or 8 to 4 or whatever, the thousands of variations of schedules out there. But it's one of those things that say you work 6 to 2 and you have plenty of time at 2 o'clock in the afternoon to drive to wherever you need to be, or fly, or whatever may be the case, to be there before your report time. And that's your choice if you want to take that day off or not. I'm not telling you one way or the other, but they have to give you the opportunity. That's where my supervisor got in trouble. He was not giving this guy that extra day off. He was refusing, and this guy had to drive like 120 miles. And we'll get to what he did to get, what the protections are here in a minute. The other thing they have to give you is they have to give you 12 hours off before your report time. So because, I work 4 to midnight, my report time 9 times out of 10 is 6 in the morning. They have to give me 6 p.m. off if I so choose. I've never taken advantage of that. I've never felt the need to. I live less than an hour from where I drill, so I come home, take a couple hour nap, go to drill. Whatever. But those are things they have to give you. And then on top of that, if you deploy or mobilized, because I know right now deployments are kind of slacking off, and mobilizations are happening more, especially if you're a National Guardsman, because of all of the natural disasters going on right now. The flooding down in Texas, the flooding in Missouri, the water issue in Mississippi, whatever may be the reason, there's mobilizations happening. And, when you go, no matter how long your mobilization is, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 18 months, whatever, up to 5 years is, to my best recollection, what the time frame is. You will get to come back to your job with all pay raises that were due you. Same shift, same schedule, same everything. Nothing changes. And that's just the way it is. That's enshrined in federal law. Now, if you have a supervisor that turns around and is telling you, nope, well, then you contact your employer guard reserve service agency, EGRSA or something along those lines. It's the federally funded, state-ran agency that basically protects service members in their employment. And in my case, my state, they have an ombudsman, kind of the, one of the individuals that is in charge of it. His favorite go-to is straight to labor court. He sues the agency. Doesn't even talk to the employer, just sues them. Which is fine. It makes the point. Don't screw with military members that are part-time. But if your employer's doing it, don't feel like you're going to cause problems. They're the ones that are causing the problem, starting the issue with your rights, screwing your rights up. So take them to court, or take them to this agency, report them, have documentation to show it. If you have a schedule from before and you have your current schedule, show them. You not only will get back to the position you were at, all those pay raises you were going to get, but 9 times out of 10, you're also going to get back pay for the less pay you got, or the lack of pay that you got. Sorry, tongue twisted up. A soldier of mine had that happen. He worked at the county jail and came back and was taken off of nights, put on days, out of the position that he was working in, into a new position that he didn't like, and they wouldn't give him his pay raises because we were gone for a year. I told him, this is what you do. Well, I don't want to do that, Sergeant. I don't want to do that, Sergeant. I don't want to cause problems. I'm like, no. They cause the problems. You are fixing the problem. And he's like, okay. And he heard from a few other NCOs that told him the same thing. And he's like, okay, all right, I'll do it. He got his position back, his shift back, his pay raises, and the back pay from the loss of shift differential that he had. All because he stood up and voiced his concerns to the proper agency. So be your own best advocate when it comes to that stuff. These laws are enshrined in federal code, so they're not going to be, argued. Oh, well, it's not what they do in this state. Sorry, supremacy clause comes into play. Federal, when 2 laws are in conflict, federal law trumps state. Always does. So you will be protected. But don't abuse it. I've had a coworker that abused it. Said, "Well, I'm at drill this weekend. I need the weekend off." And then 2 weeks later, work's getting a call from his agents or his unit. They're like, "Hey, where's this guy at? He's not showing up for drill. We are worried about him. We are going to do a welfare check." And he apparently was going to drill, saying he was going to drill when he was going to see his girlfriend to get the time off. He got fired or asked to resign, one of the two. But don't be that guy. Don't ruin it for other people. Fortunately, our supervisors understood that it was an individual, not a case of all of us doing it. It's like I said, I can get memos from my unit saying I need to be there for things. Did it before a deployment. This last deployment was there for basically a month before we deployed, helping lay the groundwork, so we were running on all 4 cylinders when we got there and not having to worry about work. It took a lot of stress off of me. So, fortunately that can happen. Worked out for me. Don't abuse it. And operational security. It's a big thing. Don't be telling inmates or talking about it when inmates aren't around. Because if you work in an agency that is a county or a state, their family is there. If they have a beef with you and they find out that you're not there and you're not going to be at home, now you're a target. So keep that stuff close to the chest. Talk about it with your coworkers away from inmates. Don't tell inmates anything they don't need to know. If you get done talking to a coworker about how, I just bought the new Xbox One X and I got all this other stuff. I got all these guns at home that I just bought, and my bolt's in my garage, and all these toys. And then an hour later, that same inmate hears you say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be gone for 2 months. I'm going to an army school." Now they just know that, hey, you're gonna be gone 2 months. Your stuff is gonna be unsupervised. Your home's gonna be empty. And you're going to come home and possibly have all your stuff taken away. And if you think that doesn't happen, or they don't know where you live, you're wrong. They can figure that out. Google search your name. You'll find where you live. I've done it. And it's not a good feeling. But the information's out there. So look into the laws. Educate yourselves if you aren't educated, and be your best advocate when it comes to military stuff. For those of you that may be thinking about joining the reserves or the National Guard, do it. If it's something you're thinking about, do it. Don't wait. Don't worry about your employer. Your job will be there when you come back. I'm not one of those salty NCOs that says, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. If it's something you want to do, do it. And don't broadcast your life's information on Front Street. Just leave it outside of work. Don't be telling anybody what's going on. So, I guess that's it for today. You guys all stay safe. Take care of each other. Watch each other's back. Salty CO out.